Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of On That Note. So glad to see you could make it today. And look, we're outside again. It's such a wonderful day. Couldn't possibly be inside. Listen, I just want to start off by apologizing sincerely. I didn't get an episode done last week. It was just so crazy busy. I know that's not a good excuse, but hey, we're back. We're back in action. We're gonna get back at it again today. So, hey, I just wanted to mention again, if you like this video, like what you hear and what you see, then at the end of the video, don't forget to hit that like button and share with your friends and family so that they can enjoy it too. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And there's lots of links to interact with again at the end of the video. So, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about me. People have been asking me, where'd you come from, what's your experience, how'd you get into what you do, why do you do what you do, how come you're still doing it today, and so I just wanted to share, I guess, a little bit about my background with you today. I figure at the 10th episode, we should probably get into that, so a little bit about myself, where I came from. I should probably start before me. I was very blessed and fortunate to have family on both sides, on my mom's and my dad's side, who are very gifted in the arts and in family. And on my mom's side, the Marinos, my grandfather, he was a pastor, and he also wrote a song for somebody in his congregation who was in a very tragic situation, and he wrote that as a way of consoling her. And just for privacy purposes for that person, I'm not going to release the name of the song or any of the lyrics or anything like that. So I thought I'd mention though that he had actually written a song and sang it, and we actually have the recording to this day. And I love playing it and singing it myself. My aunts, my Aunt Lisa and my Aunt Michelle, they've played guitar and sang and played banjo and been in bands and done local gigs and all their lives. They're both very incredibly talented, and I have to say that I'd say probably about 80% of my inspiration come from my Aunt Lisa and my Aunt Michelle. And I love, like you'll see through my through my genres, the majority of what comes out of that is kind of like a folk kind of feel, and that's a mix between actually both sides of my family as we get further into this. But because of my aunts, I love what I do because I love their sound. So I try to kind of lean towards their sound because I love it, and then other things just kind of bleed out. So and they have also written their own music, and I love what they write and how they sing and how they play. It's just, there's so much passion and there's so much of what they love what they do. And my mom, she was the whole reason I learned how to harmonize. I mean, I would listen to her in church when I was a kid in a little local church that we had, and she would sing all the harmony parts, and she'd sing them perfectly, and I always wondered, like, how did she hit those notes? That's incredible. So I would try to, at home, listen to stuff and mimic her and try to sound like, okay, I didn't know at the time, but like, I kind of thought of it in a different way in my head without the language, like what she's hitting the fifth there, or she's hitting that third there, so how can I hit the third and then hit the fifth? And so I was able to, in my head, hear the bass, like the root note, and I'd be able to sing the third and also be able to hear the fifth and then the octave as well. So I have to thank my mom for that, because there's quite a few teachers I've had and instructors and mentors who have kind of said, like, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, that's because my mom, is what I was exposed to. We're all susceptible or I guess receptive to the influence that we grow up with in our lives, and my mom was a big influence for that. And she also was the one who kind of gave me that freedom to feel like I'm free to dance, and I'm free to sing, and I'm free to be who God created me to be. And so she's really encouraged me through that. She's also been my biggest fan. Thanks, Mom. I love you. She still is to this day. And I couldn't be doing this without her. And I couldn't be doing any of this without all my family, really, even my aunts. My Aunt Lisa, I was going through a really rock bottom time in my life, probably about 6 or 7 or so, whatever, years ago. And she came into my life, and she really picked me up and helped me, and she extended a hand of grace to me, helped me get back on my feet again. And I wrote a song about her for that, and maybe someday I'll share it with you guys, but I don't quite have it organized or anything yet. So maybe one day I'll just get that out and I'll play that for you guys in memory of that. And I'll never forget that she extended a hand to me, and I love to listen to her play. I don't get a lot of time to do that, but when I do, I could just sit there and listen to her play all day. It's so mesmerizing. And my Aunt Michelle, oh gosh, she was the one who actually got me to get into this thing in the first place, into writing songs. And like, I wrote a song when I was 16, 17, or 18, I can't remember. It was On the Wall Again, and I went up to her cottage with my cousin Trav, and she said, I want you to record this. And so I sat down with her acoustic guitar, and Travis, my cousin, got a bass, and he was playing the bass acoustic, and I played the guitar, and I sang into it, and we recorded it just on this little like recording player, right? And she saved it, put it on her iTunes, and sent it to me. And I kept listening to it over and over again. She kept saying, you know, you're really, really good. You need to do something about this. You've got a gift. You've got an incredible voice, and you know you've got this gift for songwriting. You got to do something about it. I think she was the one who really gave me that good lift of encouragement to get going into this. I know she is, and you know, I have to really thank my whole family, because they've been so encouraging. Even my grandmother, my grandma Marino. She's been, you know, the one saying, you know, get that CD out or kick your butt. She's really motivating that way. I know she loves me very much, and I love her. But she's always believed in me, and so have my aunts, and so have my mom. And I've always been really, really encouraged by that. And, you know, here I am today. I'm 26 years old, and I've already got my very first CD out there. I'm a published musician. I'm registered with SoCan. I'm making royalties. Like, I can't thank all of you enough for being there for me. And Travis, my Aunt Lisa's son, he's a member of the band called Caulfield, and I'll link them or something, and I'll link them to like a Facebook page or something in the video link below, so you guys can check them out. They're an awesome band. They're a local band, and they're gaining rep huge in this town right now. They have this awesome following. It didn't take them very long to get a following. He's probably the most superb drummer I've ever heard in my life, and this is not coming from because I'm his cousin. This is coming from a fellow musician talking here. I gotta say, he's got skills that are quite fantastic, quite amazing. And I just remember I used to live with him and Aunt Lisa for a short period of my life, and I remember he'd come home from school. Pardon me. Excuse me. He'd come home from school. I just remember he'd come home from school, and after school he would sit in front of the computer, pull out his guitar or pull out his drumsticks, and he'd play on the cushions or play on his lap or play on the couch or whatever, and he'd do this for hours and hours and hours until the end of the night, and they'd go to sleep and he'd do it all over again. And I remember how quickly he improved. It's just astronomical. It was so inspiring. It was so motivating. It was like, wow, if he can do this and he can work his butt off just to study and get all this stuff done, work on his scales, work on his flim-flams and paradiddles and everything, and left hand, right hand drumming. Like, this kid worked his butt off for what he has today. So I can proudly say he's an exceptional drummer, and he's still to this day researching and working on stuff on how to get better and how to improve. He's going to workshop clinics. He's entering into competitions and contests. He's emailing people and doing Skype conversations with actual experienced drummers who are giving him one-on-one courses and tips and tricks and advice on how to improve his drumming, which is incredible, because he is quite incredible. I mean, just a few months ago he was in Florida, and he went into this jazz cafe, and there was a drum kit there. It was kind of anybody come and play, and there's these seasoned veteran jazz players who've been playing all their lives, who people pay for to come to their place and play, and Travis just jumps on the kit and plays this intricate, offbeat, syncopated rhythm on the drums, and these guys just played like they were playing with a veteran drummer. Like, Travis is an absolutely incredible drummer, and Niall and Eric, their bass player, and Niall, the lead singer and guitar player, these guys are fantastic. They got something golden happening in this small town of Peterborough, and the small town of Peterborough, all the people, they're really recognizing that. So way to go, Caulfield. I love you guys. I would totally support you guys to the end. And I will just link some stuff down there for you guys to check them out. If you haven't heard of them, you should check it out. They also have an EP on iTunes, some wicked songs, great example of their talent. And, you know, if you're in the area, come check out their shows. They do shows, I think, almost every week. You should totally check them out. They're awesome. So there's that. There's Travis on that side. I also have a cousin, Bobby Marino, and he is a musician as well, singer-songwriter, and he's doing some fantastic stuff. He's also been on the radio. You should check him out. Look him up on Facebook. Look him up on YouTube. He's been on lots of radio stations. I think he's working on a CD to get out. He just released something, or he's not released yet, but he's just getting something ready to release. And I'm excited for him for that too. So there's another side of the Marino that also is very musically inclined. So, and then let's go over to my dad's side, which is the Jobin side. So the Jobin side of the family is also very musically talented. My grandfather, Basil Marino, I love that name, Basil, and he was the one who started me out in music, period. So my dad and my grandfather, when my grandfather was alive, my dad and him would constantly argue about who got me into music first and who taught me how to play the harmonica first or who taught me how to sing first. It was kind of cute, but I just like to give them both credit because I think they both equally contributed to where I am today, just like the rest of my family. But my grandfather was a very light-hearted guy. He loved to say jokes. He called me Susie Q and Sweet Pea and Sassafras, and he would teach me how to play harmonica. And my dad also taught me how to play it. And that, as far as I remember, as far back as I remember, that started at 4 years old. And so my dad, oh, let's just stay up there. So my grandfather and my grandma, she would always sing in the kitchen as she was making us a salmon sandwich, or she's packing up things to go for a picnic, or she's cleaning up. She'd always be singing. Same with my grandfather. He'd be whistling. My Uncle Ted, probably one of the most incredibly wide-range, talented men I know in my life. A man of many trades in the music industry. Like, he plays piano better than most people I've ever met. And he also, same with the drums, he plays drums very intricately, very specifically, very tight, very good rhythm, knows what he's doing, and I think he's got way more talent than he realizes. But I'd love to jam with him sometime. He also plays the bagpipes, and he plays a lot of different, like, tin whistles. There's a great big tin flute whistle. It's a very low end kind of flute. It sounds beautiful. It's very, like, I would say, like, Native American kind of a sound or feel to it. He plays the tiny tin whistles as well, and he plays other different instruments as well. He also sings too, and he's got a YouTube video as well, if you care to check it out, where he's singing Hey Jude by the Beatles. Fantastic, awesome. I think this guy's got a lot of raw talent that is underappreciated and undercredited, but I think he's a fantastic guy. So I also get some from him as well, and I mean, the way he plays some Michael W. Smith and classical pieces just blows my mind. It always blows my mind. I would go to my grandma and grandpa's, and I would feel bad because I'd leave the group of people to go watch him or listen to him play, because that's just where I wanted to be. Like, he's just incredible. And my aunt, she was my Aunt Katie. She was a principal of a school way down in the States. She ended up being a principal up here in Canada, and a teacher, and then a kids' church pastor, and she would lead kids in worship, and she would lead her students in sing-along songs and learning to read camps where they would sing songs that associate to learning to read. So, like, letters and alphabets and different animals and stuff like that. And so I also got musical and teaching ability from her. My Aunt Donna, she's in a choir, and she's been in a choir for many, many years, and she plays, I guess their choir sings in, like, different places like Belleville and Oshawa and different local areas, and so she's been into choir all of her life, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And my father, he's been a music kind of guy for a long time, as far as I've been alive, and before that, he's a pastor as well. And he's the pastor of his church and the worship leader of his church. So he's the one who actually totally, I gotta give him a lot of credit, because one, he taught me with my grandfather how to play my first instrument, which was the harmonica. Then I'd watch him play guitar for years, and I learned how to play guitar through him, and he'd teach me some things. And then he'd take me to senior homes, retirement homes, Saturday morning markets, fairs, talent shows, gigs, anywhere, anything, wherever, whatever, just to go and play for people, just basically to help. What our heart was is just to show joy through music, to kind of show God's heart through music. And so that's just what we love to do. We love to spend time with people, give them a good time. It doesn't have to be songs about God, you know, it can be fun songs, because I don't think that songs that are not about God are from the devil. Some people say, I might get some flack from that, but whatever, that's just my opinion, right? So my dad and I would go and we just share our love through music and through what we do, what we love to do. And so, that taught me a lot of things too. It taught me how to perform. That taught me how to interact with people in a performing kind of sense, or sharing my gift in a way that helps people relate to what I do and what I love to do. And my dad, he plays harmonica, he plays guitar, he plays a 12-string like no other. I've never heard anybody play 12-string the way he does. He'll never need a mic or a jack to plug into his guitar for a DI, because he can play that thing like amplified acoustic. But he's a very talented man. He's got an incredible voice. He harmonizes very, 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 very well. If I can't find a harmony, he'll sing it for me, and then I'll catch it, and then, okay, thanks, I got it, and then he'll go back to the root. So we work really well together. We kind of always have. It's probably because he's taken me along and raised me up and trained me and shared this journey with me all my life. So I hope to continue to do that with him. So then moving on down, we have my siblings. And my sister, she plays guitar, she sings, she plays guitar really well. She doesn't think she does, but she is, and she sings very well as well. My brother Jeremiah, I swear he could totally rock being a DJ. He does really well with mixing electronic music and different stacks. He always sings very well. People used to make fun of him, call him Ricky Martin, but I thought it was a compliment because he sounded really, really like him. Like, he sounded really, really close. He's got a lot of passion when it comes to that kind of stuff. My brother Nathaniel, he's got a wicked awesome genre of music. He plays guitar really well. He can make an acoustic guitar or even like a hollow body Gretsch sound like a dobro. I can't do that. That's my big bro, like a dobro. And he's very, very good at what he does. His voice is awesome. He's been doing this pretty much all of his life too. I mean, he picked up stuff from my dad, and he played with some friends. He played in a couple of like youth bands and worship bands and different things like that. So he's got experience there. Okay, then I guess it comes down to me, and so through all those influences, and I mean, like, my mom's a fitness instructor too, and she has been basically since I've been born. So she would play, of course, a lot of, if you think of like fitness, like if you think like a body pump class or a cycling class or something like that. She works a good life. Then you would think, if you think of something like a workout music, then you think like techno or house or trance or EDM or something like that. So we've been exposed to a lot of stuff like that, like Eiffel 65 and Milk Inc. And you don't think of all those 90s retro, well, it's retro now, 90s, EDM and pop and house and trance, techno, stuff like that. And, Eiffel 65 was a great big one. I mean, if you play that anywhere around our family, we're all like, wow! So there's one of them. And, I grew up, my dad, all the songs that he played were honestly anything from the 1950s to like the 1970s or 1980s. So he played anything from Bing Crosby, the band played on, Spike Jones. Big influence, Spike Jones. My grandfather loved Spike Jones, so we all listened to him. I still love him. So Bing Crosby, the cool of the evening, right up to like John Denver, I'm leaving on a jet plane, and then you got back from the cool of the evening, better save me a chair, You got all those funny ones like, this is a great song, and people think I'm cheesy for loving all this stuff, but this is what I was exposed to, so it's what's relatable to me, right? That's kind of what hits home for me, like the song, I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown, dear hearts and gentle people, and you could be swinging on a star, and you got all these like classic oldies that are really timeless, and it comes down to, Casey would waltz with the strawberry blonde and the band played on, he's a boogie bugle boy from Company B. It sounds kind of funny to hear this stuff, but it's actually classic oldies, and I've learned to appreciate it because nowadays there's so much crap out there. Thankfully, I'm starting to find some good indie stuff. I mean, my brother's been showing me some really good folky kind of country kind of Civil Wars kind of feel, and it's been really nice to hear that stuff versus all the crap that I've been hearing recently coming out. I think the world is waiting for something real. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I do. Anyway, that's another story. Alright, so, I was exposed to all that stuff, so going into school, when concert band came up, I was grade 7, I started music class. I started out with the clarinet for a year, didn't really like it, went on to the flute, and Sorry, a dragonfly just landed on me. Anyway, I started out with the clarinet, didn't like it, went on to the flute, and I stuck with the flute up until grade 8 class of fruity flutes. And did I mention I'm crazy? I don't know if you noticed by now. Anyway, I like to have fun when I do what I do. So excuse the rabbit trails. It happens. I'm a Jobin. So anyway, yeah, I went to flute and I liked it. I stuck with it till grade 8. I didn't really venture too much. I did try out the tenor sax. I did try the alto sax, a little bit of trumpet. And of course I was into guitar because of my dad. And so I still played harmonica. Once I got into high school, I went into jazz band with the flute. Jazz band with flute is kind of difficult. I was never really good at interpretation, improvising. I was never good at improvising. It kind of scared me going outside the lines. I was good with sticking with the rules and sticking the way it was, but I stuck with jazz band for a year, and then I went into concert band, and we had a little tiny school band, like tiny, like I'm talking like 15 to 20 kids, and most bands had like 50 to 100 or 200 or more. And so we were pretty happy with the big sound that we were told we had by judges when we hit like first place, second place, or third place medals in the big cities, and we ended up going to New York and playing at the United Nations building, so that was quite an honor as well. And I think our team also went down. I didn't go because I was saving up to go to another trip, but they went down to Cuba and they played in Cuba, which is really cool. So after high school, I got into a church where most of my family was attending, and we ended up I ended up being asked to take over as band director of their youth band there. And as scary as that was, because I was terrified and totally nervous and shy, I accepted it after saying no like 5 times. And that was quite an interesting journey, gaining the respect of the youth band members, and learning how to lead and learning how to follow and learning how to honor and trust each other. And we developed pretty well. We went from like a 4-member band to 2 teams of 7 or 2 teams of 8 or something like that. So we had like 14 or 15 or 16 members, and we had sound guys and we had lighting guys and guys and girls, I should say. And yeah, that was great. And then I was asked to join the worship team, the adult worship team upstairs, so I did that. And then later on was asked to become one of 3 worship leaders, and did that. And that was also a different learning curve, different age category, different scenario, and so that was another part of my learning how to do music and teach music. And so now I'm continuing to write my own music. I released my own album. Woo! It's on iTunes and Spotify, Shazam, Rhapsody. It's on YouTube, and it's called More Than Meets the Eye, and that's the title track. It's a song called More Than Meets the Eye. It's an acoustic song that I wrote. And yeah, I'm pretty happy to say that, you know, at 26 years old, you know, sometimes you work so hard on something and for so long on something, it doesn't show up and you kind of get bummed out and go, come on, when am I going to get there? But then I look at it and go, holy, I'm 26 years old and I have a CD released. Like, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty honored that, you know, Tim, the guy who's writing, or I'm writing and Tim's been working with me, my producer, he's of Trembling Music Studios. He's been quite amazing in helping me add the magic to my acoustic songs and the arrangements and recording and getting all that done. So thank you, Tim. Thank you to my family and everybody else who influenced me in my life. Just running out of time here, so I just want to close things up. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on. There's a little bit about me. I'm writing now. I'm teaching piano lessons to my niece and to a couple of other students. Teaching guitar as well. Look me up on Facebook, look me up on YouTube, whatever you want to do, and hit me up a message. If you have any questions, send them my way. I'll answer them in the next video. And don't forget to hit that like button and share with everybody you can see and everybody you know. Trying to get the word out there. Don't want to be famous or nothing. I just want to share what I have for people, and who knows who that's for. So the more you share it, the more likely it is to get to that person who needs to hear what I have to say. So thank you again for taking the time to listen to me. I love you all. I appreciate all you do. And on that note, keep it real.